Namaskar. Today we are back with a few of the topics. These topics you are hearing here on daily basis. These topics actually will definitely help you to not only get information but also create quality content which you can utilize in your IAS answer papers. The list of topics for today includes role of election in a democracy that will work for overall GS, even essay writing also. Second is China providing Pakistan with the spy ship that will be covered in GS2. How actually India can be threatened by although China-Pakistan axis. Two-front war is always a war cry. Number third, forex reserve surging and its importance in the GS3. How the forex reserves those are right now going on a spiral phase. How that can be helpful for our country. Number four, some insights from interview regarding trade deals and all. Number five, we would be covering some motivational part that is for ethics and overall mental and physical health. So we now start with elections. You see, election dates have been announced yesterday, and with the election dates announced by Election Commission, the model code of conduct has come into picture. For the 18th Lok Sabha, there are 543 seats and 7 phases and 44 days. The election will prolong to. First phase will start on April 19, that will go up to June 1st, that will cover 57 seats, and the results will be announced on June 4. If we see overall male voters, then in 2024, 96.8 crore are total voters, out of which 47.1 are female. First time voters are 1.8 crore. So first time voter also indicate that how many people are now shifting from the age group of below 18 to now 18, and they are also becoming a part of the election team or election cycles. This is the world's largest election, number one. You should be proud that India is handling such a gigantic exercise. You should also give a credit to the election commission that its independence, its impartiality, and its own purpose actually is being served by a successful conduct of election. You should also think and thank the administration and overall bureaucracy and the people who are at the government service or public service, how they are contributing. Even you have to give credit to the political parties, how they are giving actually a issue based and taking issue based support from people. So this is a festival of democracy. As you know, India is the largest democracy in the countries across the globe. This is the exercise in which close to 97 crore people are participating. There cannot be any exercise actually which is more than enough to show that the democratic will of the people of our country, how strong it is. Now we would be talking about, are elections an indication of the democracy? Yes, elections are an indication of the democracy because it is the election that gives you representatives. It is the elections that brings forth the policies and programs of parties those are seeking your votes. It is the elections in which 5-year cycle, whichever government has done whatever, there is now a time for a feedback. So it strengthens democracy. As you must have also seen that every leader will now be part of all those homecomings. They will be now spread across the country, so you can raise your own grievances. You can even mention that this and this what we need and how we can grow further. Elections are also a time for policy renewals. Elections are also, when they are held in fair, free and absolute impartial manner, they improve the democratic framework of our nation. You must have seen across the globe how many countries have struggled to announce or even actually to conduct elections which are absolutely free of rigging, which are free from any kind of fear or favor. In our country, even judiciary also makes the elections free and fair. All those election petitions can be challenged into the Supreme Court, and then Supreme Court with the help of Election Commission decide about these election pleas. So elections are definitely one of the starting point, and even we can say always a testing point for our democracy. If democracy has to survive, it is the elections which has to be fought on a particularly great kind of impartial and neutral manner and free and fair manner. One also fact I am telling you is 44 days the election exercise will go on, and this is the largest, second longest election since 1951. The 2024 Lok Sabha elections will extend into summer month, and it is the only second time in country's electoral history that 44 days election period, the second longest after 1550-51. The first general election to Lok Sabha, as you know, was held over 68 phases from October 1951 to February 1952. More than 70 years later, parliamentary elections in 2024 will now have, as I told you, 96.8 crore voters. In the last four elections cycles held since 2004, voting had traditionally taken place in April and May. Now this is the instance where in June also the voting is shifting. The spillover into June is primarily due to two reasons. Number one, a 6-day delay in announcing the polls compared to 2019, and consecutive festivals such as Holi, Tamil, Bihu, Baisakhi in March and April. So Election Commission had to ensure that important dates such as last date of withdrawal or polling days did not coincide with these festivals. The delay in the poll announcement was also partly circumstantial, as election commissioners abruptly quit citing personal reasons. That actually left election commission as a single member body. That's why the elections are now being conducted into this kind of groups. As we see, there are around 1.8 crore first time voters who will be having 18 to 19 and 19.74 crore voters in the age group of 20 to 29 years. So close to 20 crore voters are below the age of 30 years, and this is a very big exercise. Those under 30 make up a fifth of the total voter base, and it does show that the demographic dividend of a country, how strong is this. If a country's politician do not take this voter for, or take this voter base for granted, how fateful can be it for India's democracy. These are the people actually who will be influencing, and that's why we are seeing new kind of policies, startup policies, new technology policies, even actually gig workers, social security, even actually those people who are distributing some sort of scooties or laptops in the elections and trying to woo these kind of voters. So the philosophies and the policies, and even we can also know that the general or the median age of giving tickets to the people, how much youths are now becoming part of it. So democracy is definitely not only getting strengthened, but it is also getting diversified, and there are chances that with the elections, the democratic framework with the initiation of these target base will get only and only youthful in our country. Now we talk about we will take democracy to every corner of the country, says Rajiv Kumar. Elections are a mechanism where those who conduct elections actually they go to the nook and corner of our country, and they get the vote cast from those people. How important it is, because in our country there are a lot of geographical diversity. If there are mountains, plains, deserts, lot many remote areas where even one of or two of or three of the families are living, even actually all those people who are conducting elections reach out to those people, take their votes, and get them counted. So this is how the election machinery in our country works. Number of polling stations, whenever you are writing about the gigantic exercise, you should mention that polling stations has increased to 10.48 lakh, up from 10.35 lakh. Polling exercise would involve 1.5 crore polling and security officials, 55 lakh EVMs, and 4 lakh vehicles. This is where you can utilize this data into whenever we are talking about one election, one nation, one election poll. You can say that maintaining these many polling stations, these many polling and security officials, EVMs, etc. at a singular time can be a little bit of trouble, and it will be a gigantic logistic nightmare even to arrange the EVMs for CEC or election commission. So whenever you are writing about one nation, one election poll, in suggestions also you can write that these logistic nightmares we have to reduce before we can start doing it. We now move on to the second topic, and that is China-Pakistan Navy get its first spy ship. As you must have seen, GS2 international relations, India has actually two of the borders which are fragile enough. One in the western sector, that is with Pakistan, another that is in the northern sector, that is with China. Both have unsettled borders, and border skirmishes have played a bigger role in India's complexity of the relations between these two countries. India has to maintain its arsenal of arms, ammunitions, etc. to just have a kind of possibility that tomorrow it can be a two-front war or two-front kind of challenges. Pakistan and China are now engaging into an all-axis friendship, all-weather friendship. When it is an all-weather friendship, China grants an all-weather friendship title to a country which China feels that it is very, very strategically important, and for China it becomes as a very, very great strength partner. So China has given this particular tag to Pakistan. How important is this? You can understand with the tag that is all-weather partnership. China has been supplying weapons across the board, and it has been no secret. Pakistan is now getting a spy ship, as you know. China has helped Pakistan Navy induct its first specialized research or spy vehicle that has the capability to track launch of the nuclear-tipped ballistic missile and undertake intelligence gathering missions. The name is PNS Rijwan, and it is said to be similar to India's indigenously built 175-meter long missile range instrumentation ship called Dhruv. So how that can be dangerous to India? Number one, because they can always track launch of nuclear tipped ballistic missiles, and they can undertake other intelligence based missions. With a handful of countries like US, Russia, China, France and India operate such specialized vessels, China providing a regular technology to Pakistan can then actually cause a trouble in the Indian Ocean region to monitor India's missile launches as well as map oceanographic and other useful data for navigation and submarine operations, among others. INS Dhruv, which took several years to be built, is manned by personnel from Navy, DRDO and NTRO. This ship can act as an early warning system on high seas to detect and track hostile ballistic missiles launched from land or submarine against Indian military target or mainland targets. So you can then actually understand how much severe it is. And with this, we should also get to know that yes, how big a concern for us in China Pakistan, dealing with China Pakistan axis, and how important that with this relationship, the relationship with USA and Western Asian countries like US, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirat is getting affected because of this. So China Pakistan axis is our second point of talk today. Number third, Forex excess reserves. Those are surging to record $636.095 billion. These surged by $10 billion at the end of week ending the March. And Reserve Bank of India provides a data for this. This marks the third consecutive week of growth to hit a 2-year high. The data prior to week was 6.554 billion, bringing to $625.625 billion. You see how the forex exchange reserves are or help a country. Number one, whenever we talk about the monetary authority, that is our RBI, they actually are assets. Those are held by country's monetary policy, primarily in reserve country currencies such as US dollar, euro, Japanese yen and pound sterling. When they are at particular comfortable level, then they provide us import cover for a longer period of time. You must have seen in 1991 how India struggled, and it had to send its gold actually to get the India's some sort of forex exchange reserve also. That time we were left with merely 7 or 8 days of import cover, but right now the import cover that we have is close to 3 months. So whenever, suppose say, if there is any upheaval in the currency cycle, or if there is any upheaval somewhere in the sanctions are hit, then at least these reserves can help India always stonewall its import chest. So import cover of 3 months is a very, very big thing. Number two, forex exchange reserve, when the precious dollar is coming, and we are dependent on, number one, for oil industry. We have to send oil to larger countries because we do not produce close to 85% of our requirement for fossil fuels, and for that we have to spend the forex reserves in the form of dollar, because dollar is the currency for international transactions. So that can be also helpful. And India's imports have always been higher than the India's exports, and to bridge this particular trade deficit, we have to take care of even the forex exchange reserves or the capital investment that comes into our country. Otherwise it can create a balance of payment crisis. Balance of payment crisis in the sense that when the capital account does not give you enough reserve to handle the current account, then the money comes from this particular chest, and if the chest is also empty, then there can be a balance of payment crisis. So forex exchange reserves not only provide a benefit for import cover, but they do also provide you this kind of issue and this kind of good hand. Number third with the forex exchange reserve is the flow of dollars in our country and support to the local currency value. Support to the local currency value. Whenever the supply of dollars increase, our value of the local currency gets spiked up. we do not face actually these kind of troubles when the rupee is going down, जहाँ पे rupee down होता है और जहाँ पे डॉलर की वैल्यू बढ़ जाती है. So whenever there are constant supplies of dollars, then the rupee value will increase, and it can also provide a support to the rupee. Number 4, even inflation also can be controlled, because whenever the currency value is a little higher, then actually the inflation can be controlled, because we do not have to face with the problem of imported inflation. Imported inflation means inflation that has been brought by all those items which were imported from outside the country. Number 5, there can be also challenges with the forex exchange reserve. Number 1, that whenever the forex exchange reserve arrive in our country, they can actually impact the currency level fluctuations also. Whenever there is a larger flow inside, then these kind of things actually will then suppress your currency value to maybe a larger extent, and RBI may have to extend its olive branch to it to settle the currency to a particular limit. Because if the currency gets strengthened by a lot of margins, then our export can get impacted, because export at that time become uncompetitive. And there is own cost of maintaining the forex exchange reserves also, because the banks, those are primarily made for this purpose. What they do is they try to make it they try to just replenish their reserves with the cash, because whenever somebody is bringing a dollar outside or international currency from outside, he has to give actually money, he has to be given money back into the local currency. So countries' war chest of the local currencies also then has to be spiked up, and that's why it has its own logistic cost. So both thing I have told you. Now we move on to the next topic called protectionism and nationalistic rhetoric, trade deals. So he says that WTO projection for 2024 are still somewhat that you see a good global trade. Global trade and global economy are quite weak right now. The economy has bottomed out, and he expects that some sort of uptake. He says that trade deals are signed elsewhere and in India despite the rhetoric of rising protectionism and nationalism. So whenever you are writing that trade deals are being, or WTO is being weakened, you can mention that the reason behind is rising protectionism and rising nationalism. Rising protectionism means everyone actually is now talking about the national import that we will be banning import and we will be getting self-sufficiency. They are also trying to get the nationalistic also. Nationalistic in the sense that we will improve our nationalistic position otherwise, and all those resources and minerals which we were earlier exporting are only for our population. There is no one other who can take care of it. So just like America first approach, whatever they say that America will get the production from its own shores rather than actually getting from outside. So if America starts producing on its own everything, then the export dependence or the global growth actually that it brings with other thing, that whenever these supplies which are given to Europe and America are being supplied say from China's or other part of the globe, then those people sitting in China also get job and inclusive growth. So that also goes for a toss. So that's why this kind of thing is getting hampered because of the patriotism and nationalism kind of feelings. How are you reading China at the moment? Because their trade with Asian nations are rising, but there is a bit of decline. So I don't think there can be anything but positive about China. The track record is proven. The China plus one story is also there. You must also understand what is China plus one story. What is China plus one story? After COVID, we have understood that if the global supply chains are to function to a particular optimum level, then there should be other geographies which also work to a mindset where other geographies can also provide the manufacturing facilities. India has learned this lesson. Even Vietnam and Thailand and Indonesia are also attracting it. So China plus one is a strategy where manufacturing by other partners are also other countries are also being improved, and the companies across the globe, whichever the MNCs, multinational companies, are also diversifying their base. So if a labor supply is hit in one country, then other countries actually can rise up, or there is a diversity among the production in the countries. Now I told you this particular interview, because there is some sort of, because he is a chief executive of a particular company and he's actually concerned about trade, and this was noteworthy. Now I tell you a Sunday dose, and that is about खुद को सुधारते चले जाएंगे तो आपके काम में भी बेहतरी ज़्यादा आने लगेगी. ज़्यादा सोचना जो है अपने लिए ठीक नहीं है. We should not actually overthink on a particular thing. Suppose if something is affecting us, we should leave it there and there altogether, and we should not make it an issue altogether. So खुद को सुधारते चले जाएंगे. तो उन्होंने कहा है कि भाई हर काम वक्त के साथ मैच्योर होता है. Maturity comes with actually time and energy. So this is the main actually motivation by this. Another is ज्ञान हमें शक्ति देता है और प्रेम पूर्णता. As you know, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, he was awarded Bharat Ratna. He has been our president also, and he was very much into teaching job. So teacher, for him actually teaching was first and other profession. Teaching is right now getting hampered because of other person do not want to become actually a teacher, etc. So he says that teacher is the one, शिक्षक जो है वो छात्र के दिमाग में तथ्यों को जबरन नहीं डाले. शिक्षक वह होता है that teaches the student what and how to deal with tomorrow's complexities. अनदर इज अपने ज्ञान में निरंतर वृद्धि करती रहनी चाहिए. सो परिवर्तन से डरना नहीं छोड़े. समटाइम एक्चुअली यू कैन बी आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन इन एथिक्स दैट व्हाट इज चेंज एंड हाउ शुड यू डील विद चेंज. सो दिस इज द आंसर. यू शुड ऑलवेज इंप्रूव योर नॉलेज. नंबर वन. नंबर टू, परिवर्तन से डरना नहीं छोड़ें. वी शुड नॉट फियर दैट वॉट एवर द चेंज इज कमिंग, वी शुड अडॉप्ट दो चैलेंजेस. नंबर थर्ड, संकट के समय हमें यू शुड शो ग्रेटर कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल वेन एवर देर इज सम सॉर्ट ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अराइजिंग या देर आर चैलेंजेस. मुस्कुराहट से भी बहुत कुछ मिलता है एंड दूसरों से तुलना हमेशा नुकसानदायक साबित होती है. वी शुड नॉट कंपेयर बट देर शुड बी फीलिंग ऑफ कोऑपरेटिव फीलिंग्स. सो दिस इज द टूडेज लेक्चर. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and like our button. For more such videos, you can like the button and subscribe the channel. Thank you.